Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Venus and I'm a music therapist in Sydney. I can finally change my intro. I'm no longer a student. Yeah, this has been the biggest piece of news for me since December, and actually I've been waiting for this moment for 2 years. So yeah, today I want to take the chance to really reflect on what happened this year, and I'll walk you through the process of how I usually do my annual review. I will have everything in the description box below so you can copy, duplicate any template that you want. So before I show you my Notion template about my annual review, I just want to quickly talk about why we need to do annual review. I think it's not a must, but everyone should do it because you only die once. That's why you shouldn't waste time, and every second of your life should be contributed to something bigger and something that you really want to do, right? It's not like you're distracting yourself or you're procrastinating. I don't know. Yeah, this is just how I think. Life is precious and we shouldn't waste time on doing things that are not important. And that really reminds me of a quote I believe is by Robert Broad. He says, "We are kept from our goal, not by obstacles, but a clear path to a lesser goal." I think that's very true when I just did my annual review and look at what I said I would do last year. So let's take a look. So this is the Notion template. I just copied that from Ali Abdal's 2020 annual review. I'll put the link in the description box so that you can just duplicate the same thing. I've been using the same template last year as well, so nothing new. But it's a good exercise to really go through what happened during the year, because I know everyone is saying that we've been asleep for 2 years, but I think that's not true. We all have many achievements and stuff going on, so I feel like it's a good time to review what happened and to look forward to next year, despite how the current situation is. Anyway, so let's start. So we have like 3 parts. The first one is reflect, second step is plan, and the last step is execute. So step 1. Reflect, stuff that I'm grateful for. A lot of stuff underneath this heading. We're gonna go through every one of them, and I'm gonna talk you through what happened this year for me and how I really achieved my dream of 2 years, and how I really pivoted my career from being an accountant to finally a music therapist. And I will also talk you through all the habits and routines that worked for me and what didn't work and what I would improve next year, and maybe that might help you as well. So let's get started. I'm gonna skip everything that's related to people because I think that's kind of private and I don't want to get into it too much. So yeah, stuff I'm grateful for. This year, we have been in lockdown for a few months in Sydney, but I'm still grateful for lots of experiences. Let's take a look. The first one is the Brisbane placement. That actually happened in mid-June to mid-July for 5 weeks. So I just drove there, and then during the first week, I think, and then Sydney was in lockdown. So when I came back, I just drove straight into lockdown from Queensland after 10 hours, which was a bit interesting, but I still learned a lot during the placement, which was really nice. I would recommend all the students to get as much experience as possible. And second thing is I launched my own business. It's called Music Therapy, and it's an online music therapy business to help emerging adults who are people between 18 to 29 years old to improve their mental health and well-being and quality of life through music therapy. Yeah, I launched it in late July amid pandemic and so many uncertainties, but I'm so glad that I've done it because this is like eventually what I really want to do. Yeah, next, I got some handpan gig earlier this year. I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, I had that like twice in the boxing studio, but it was for a meditation part. And then I was also testing my beta program, which is like a psycho-education mindset, mental health thingy, with different people from different countries. So there was one in UK, one in New Zealand, and one in America. It was interesting. I have yet to summarize the program, but I'm gonna do that in the next quarter, I think. And then the next experience is change of routine due to lockdown. Because like after I came back from Brisbane, I stopped my gym membership, and then other stuff changed as well, and that really tested my discipline because school also started in the same week after I came back. So it really relied on self-control and how you work hard and stay sane amid the pandemic, basically. But I'm so glad that the past 1 year of going to gym consistently, like I've been boxing 3 times a week before June, and then yeah, that really helped build the foundation of like exercising every single day, which is nice. And then in July, which was the time when I was in Brisbane, I also joined Ultra Speaking. I think that's cohort 7. Forgot about that. But yeah, it was really interesting experience. It's live, intensive, cohort-based public speaking learning, and it happened at like 1 a.m. for me in Sydney. So that was really intense, and it was challenging for me because like I had my placement going on 4 days a week, but then during midnight I have this kind of thing going on that really demanded my attention and also energy as well. So I have actually been experimenting different sleep cycles. So I try to sleep at like 10 to 11 p.m. before the cohort start or something like that. That was interesting and challenging, but good experience nonetheless. And the last one is about workout as well. Like I joined Centre in February this year because of a complimentary Amex offer. That's why from February onwards I had more home workout, which was actually a blessing because of the lockdown later on. And I really like the app, not just about the workout, but also the diet and also the meditation. It's really helpful, especially during the pandemic. So yeah, I'm really grateful for all these experiences. So let's move on. Accomplishment. The first one, it has to be the fact that I am now a registered music therapist. I'm still an accountant, but I'm gonna cancel the membership, but that's a story for another time. And then I also maintained distinction average across the 2 years. And then I also presented at the Australian Music Therapy Association conference this year, which was scary but exciting because it's online, so that means it's not live, and I actually just recorded a 6-minute presentation and then sent it off to the team. And then yeah, just had a little bit of conference experience as a student because that means you can make mistakes. Anyway, that's an accomplishment because like before I joined Ultra Speaking, I would never imagine myself doing public speaking or volunteer myself to talk. But now, look at where I am. I've done well, I think. And then next, start a business. I've talked about that. And then I've also created a job from my independent placement from no music therapist to now I'm the music therapist there. So next year I'll be going back to the community center to do group music therapy, and I also got a part-time music therapy job that will start next year. And I also maintained consistent social media upload because I have 2 Instagram accounts, and then I've got this YouTube channel and also a newsletter every single week. I think I skipped YouTube for a couple of weeks, not months I think, but like overall it's still quite consistent given my workload and other stuff. Yeah, so I think that's an accomplishment. Regarding public speaking, I got more comfortable speaking without a script, just like what I'm doing now. And then consistent workout. Why do I keep mentioning workout? I don't know. And then I've successfully maintained a long distance relationship. This is the 2nd year of being long distance thanks to the pandemic. And then I also got some sales in the business that I started up in July. Anyway, things that I'm grateful for. New MacBook Pro, I bought it this year, and then my Apple Watch, I just started using it for like 2 weeks or something, but it's been game changing. I've talked about that in the next session. And then my AirPods Pro, still my best friend, I can't live without that. And then my handpan, as always. And then there's a BB wallet that I want to talk about. It's like this. So it's actually just a card holder, but you do it the other way. Like usually the cards are inside, but they put it outside, so you can access all your cards. And then the notes are just in, but then the thing is we don't really use cash nowadays, right? And then it's just so light because you just save 1 layer of leather by putting all the cards outside. So it's just a wallet but like inside out, if you get what I mean. But I really think this design is genius, and I think it's actually for male that don't care. I really love it. And then water bottle with straw. This is the one that I'm talking about. I feel like after I inserted the straw, I drank much more water than I usually would, which is nice. Next, let's talk about some game changes. Online therapy. I think I started attending that in October last year until mid-August this year. And online has been really helpful, really convenient. I would 100% recommend it. Centre app, I don't need to talk about that anymore. And this is not sponsored, but I just keep mentioning it. It's just so good. And then Harry Potter audiobooks, I rediscovered that. And it was on Spotify when I started listening to all the books. But then they kept being taken down by Spotify itself, I think, because I feel like they want to do the audiobook thingy from some other app. I don't know, it's just not there anymore. That's why I've been using YouTube recently. And then also accessing Siri on Apple Watch has been really handy, like when you want to do a quick countdown when you make tea, when you're doing a face mask and you want to do a countdown. It's just handy. I've tried taking notes when I was driving. It kind of worked as well, but not very steady. So I've yet to experiment that, but it's been a game changer. Next, what happened this year? So this is like a bird's eye view of like everything that has been going on this year, and then you will start to realize how much you have changed, basically, because we always overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. That's why it's helpful to do this kind of exercise, isn't it? Big picture, become a registered music therapist, that's the big one for me. And then there's my constantly changing lifestyle from full-time student earlier this year, and then I got a casual piano teaching work, different gigs, teaching handpan and other stuff. And then lockdown happened, I got minimal work because I can't do face-to-face lessons, and I kind of became unemployed. There was like a period when I had no actual work, but I was still a student, that's why I couldn't get any real music therapist job anyway. But then I have like freelance job going on. It's like always changing. And the next one is prioritized learning and healing. Like weekly therapy, as I've talked about, singing lesson and guitar lesson have been really consistent. They all started off like face-to-face sessions in places like close to where I live, but then it all went online. And then recently I went back to face-to-face singing, but not guitar. And then ultra speaking, I've talked about that public speaking course. And then this is another coaching course that I'm currently enrolled in. And then I've also built so many good habits like meditation, journaling is like really solid habits. Yeah, and working out, learning language on Duolingo. I've been learning French for like a long time, but it's like over 600 days on Duolingo now, which is nice. And then the next part is a timeline of what happened every single month this year that got me to where I am today. I think I'm going to skip this part because I've talked about most of the stuff in the big picture. Okay, moving on. Cool stuff I discovered this year. I think I wrote that myself, yeah. I feel like the lockdown this year in Sydney, which is the second one, really taught me the importance of social interaction. As in the fact that, like, no matter how introverted you think you are, you still need to talk to people, like even your local barista. And I feel like social anxiety is real under the current climate, and I've met some friends in real life. I think I met them on an app or something like that, but then we met up eventually, which was a bit scary, but then also it's good that I'm kind of maintaining this kind of social interaction. And then I've also talked to lots of people, music therapists, who are ahead of me in the journey, which is nice. And then I've also built bonding with people in my cohort because we haven't met much because of like online learning and stuff. And then YouTube channels or videos, I've been binge watching lots of Taiwanese channels recently. There's a typo here. Yeah. And then also Harry Potter audiobooks, I've been talking about that just now. It's been nice, and I can listen to that on 2x speed. Yeah, and then books. I'm not a frequent reader, but I've read some books this year, I'm proud to say that. And yeah, the first one is The Big Leap, which is like a reread because I've read that several years ago, but then something happened this year that really like kind of urged me to reread this book because they talked about the upper limit problem. Like the concept of upper limit problem is that when you have achieved something, you quickly want to sabotage yourself by creating drama or think about something bad that brings you to a current level of misery. I think that's very bizarre, but that happens a lot in my life. Like whenever I have like mini achievement, big or small actually, and then I just want to, I feel like I'm just not used to this kind of happy, successful feeling, and I just want to bring myself back to the mystery level. And then in this book they talk about how you can break this mindset down, and then how you can build a healthy relationship with yourself, with health and happiness and success. And the next one is Who Not How by Benjamin Hardy, I think. Yeah, it's an awesome book about like thinking who can help you achieve the goals but not how, because think about someone who have achieved that before you, and then you can just ask him or her for advice. And I actually applied this concept this year by getting different coaches and tutors like singing, ultra speaking, guitar, and now I'm gonna learn Japanese. Look forward to that. And next one is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It got me interested in Stoicism. I think I will dabble into that more next year. And this is the next book, Happy Sexy Millionaire by Stephen Bartlett. This is the only physical book I bought this year, but I have been listening to his podcast and other stuff in the past 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it's just so great and it changed my life. And I will continue to adopt his mental model, especially on making decisions, quitting model, and prioritizing health. And then now there are like so many reflective questions that we're gonna go into, but you can just like do whatever you like. You can skip ahead if you don't want to answer them, but I feel like it's a good exercise for you. Yeah, so difficult things this year and challenges. Definitely the lockdown that I've talked about. I feel like I got a little bit depressed during September to October because of my constantly changing lifestyle and living arrangement with my family, and I was not prioritizing self-care and social interaction. That's why I felt like sometimes when you want to go all in your studies or business, it's not always healthy. You still need a balance in life, and when you don't have that kind of bonding or people to support you, it gets really hard. I reckon after I came back from Brisbane, everything constant in my life was being taken away. Therapy, face-to-face singing, guitar lessons, group fitness class, and also the chance to dine out and travel, nothing. Yeah, it's been really challenging for me, especially in the relationship part, but I think I have kind of overcome that challenge. Yeah. And then during a Brisbane placement, it got cut short because I was not vaccinated. It was a big challenge for me back then, but now I'm over it. Yeah. And then relationship, I've talked about that briefly. I'm in a long distance relationship and everything is unknown. And challenge, mindset of marketing and selling, especially in my business. And then I feel like staying at home too much has really kind of interfered my focus, concentration, and discipline. It's really hard. Like, I'm very good at like maintaining habits of working out and other stuff, but sometimes it's really tricky to stay focused at work in this kind of like home environment. I don't know, tell me it's not just me. Yeah, and then a little bit of imposter syndrome going on in my career. So let's talk about something more cheerful next. Things that I felt proud of myself this year. The first one, definitely changing career. It has been a dream come true, literally, because I've been like working so hard when I did my audition and when I studied this master course. Yeah, it's been a really tough journey, like with everything going online. I feel like I'm not learning much, but now I've done it. Yeah, it's just like bizarre. Like in my past 5 years, like working as an accountant, I was feeling so miserable and unhappy all the time because I feel like I'm not utilizing my potential. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like there are people suffering outside, but I'm not using what I can do best to help them. And then I discovered music therapy, and then I was working so hard to get into it despite the fact that I didn't have a qualifying bachelor degree. But yeah, today, looking back, it's really crazy. So don't underestimate what you can do in like 1 or 2 years. Just keep working hard every single day and trust the process, trust the baby steps. You can do it as well. And then I also explored all my options upon graduation, got a job, created a job, started a business, talked about that before, and then I was really proud of myself for being consistent with all my habits and routines. The next one, if I have to teach one thing that I learned this year that would improve your quality of life, what would that be? I would say is to experiment often. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to create more experiences in your life. Despite the lockdown, despite everything, like even though you can't go out, you can still attend online courses and meet other people, have like online co-working group, whatever. I feel like internet has really made everything possible. And yeah, try more things, don't be afraid because you're still young, there's always time. But yeah, just try it. Like even though it's a new recipe or new meditation routine, whatever, don't be afraid to try that out. Because like, what's the worst case scenario? Don't do things or don't not do things that you will regret later on. what did I write here? Don't tell your grandkids that 2020 to 2022 period is a blank. You are meant to strive. So what kept me up at night with excitement this year? This would be my music therapy proposal, the one that I presented at the conference. Basically, it's a blended model of music therapy plus psychoeducation plus community for like young adults. And I'm really keen to implement that in my own business in the future. How did I have fun differently in 2021? I think I got more excited in filming handpan covers, but that did not happen often enough because of environment. I know I'm making excuses, but like the place where I'm living in is really noisy and I'm not living alone. That's why it's really hard to like do audio recording sometimes. But anyway, we'll see what we can do next year. And then this is the first time I also experienced how I can have fun at work, because previously when I was an accountant, obviously it was not fun. No one would say accounting is fun, I think. Yeah, and like during placement and during the actual work, I think it's a good career for me. How did I suffer differently in 2021? I feel like going back to the lockdown period, September, October, I was feeling very stagnant in life because like I was literally stuck at home, and then I feel like I don't know what was going on. I don't know if I was really improving every day or not, and I don't know what will happen next year, stuff like that. And then I'm also quite anxious about starting my own business, other stuff. Yeah, anxiety, depression, a little bit of that. And the fact that I had no therapy sessions at that time, really challenging. And then I'm going to skip the people questions here, but you can do it on your own. What did I feel guilty for in 2021? I feel like I might have got more jobs. I don't know. But I'm not very keen to teach piano anymore. That's why I quit that early, but sometimes I feel like I don't know if it's a good decision or not. And then sometimes I'm not speaking up when I should have. I think that's the thing that I will dabble into more next year. And then, because I never watch TV, that's why recently when I spent more time on YouTube, like as an entertainment, I felt quite guilty for not being productive, which is weird. Moving on. People, skip, new habits that I created this year and what I want to keep. So, about workout again, like really consistent. I go to the gym or have home workout every single day, apart from the week when I'm having my period. And sometimes, like, I feel like at the first half of this year, I kind of did it at like early evening to signal it's the end of a work day and I could chill after I've done this workout. But recently, I've moved that to early in the morning to kickstart my day. Yeah, it's just up to you, so experiment that and see what works for you. But I'm definitely keeping the workout routine. Meditation as well. I usually just do the sleep visualization from Center app before I go to bed. But I think someone talked about this, like try to meditate before you go to sleep, because you will either meditate or you fall asleep, which is a win for you. And the next one is intermittent fasting that I started in mid-October. And I'm only doing that between Monday to Friday, and then my first meal will be at noon, and then I stop eating after 8 p.m. That kind of works for me, but we'll see how that goes next year, because I have like a whole long work day during the weekday, so I will see. But these are all the new habits. The old habits of journaling, whatever, I'm keeping them. What things I stopped caring about this year? Buying luxury brands. This is interesting because like when I had like a more stable income as an accountant, I bought lots of luxury products, from handbags to designer shoes. Yeah, I think shoes is the area that I really spend a lot of money on. But I really like Yeezys and my Balenciaga. But they are old, but they are still trendy because people still wear them, I think. But now, like after 2 years of like pandemic, I don't go out much, I've no one to see, and I'm happy with my old purchases. I think I've generally stopped buying stuff. Like last year, I only bought more workout clothes, but this year, I've been doing home workout more, so I don't even need more workout clothes. Yeah. New thing I spend a lot of money on. Lessons, coaching, but that's investment, so that's fine. And I spend a lot of time on content creation, I think, and using Canva because I'm managing 2 Instagram accounts, and sometimes I use Canva for my YouTube as well, for the graphics and stuff. So yeah, what do you feel you've gotten a lot better? Singing and playing guitar, definitely. Yeah, I was so not confident last year, but now I think it's getting better. And also being more aware of my thoughts. This is a huge win from therapy. What did I rediscover? Pleasure. Watching YouTube for entertainment. A guilty pleasure, basically. When I felt at peace this year, I was doing deep breathing. I want to say meditation, but sometimes it's not like that. I was like thinking a million things at the same time, but when I'm doing deep breathing, this is when I feel calm. And listening to Harry Potter audiobooks, definitely. And then this part is really interesting because I looked at the annual review last year and I've listed some goals that I didn't achieve. For example, like earning 5 figures when I graduate. This is what I wanted to do, but I feel like I don't want it enough and I'm not serious enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving myself excuse. And then, yeah, I gave reason to those as well. I feel like for both my new business and my YouTube channel, I'm not being serious enough. That's why I don't have a new identity. That's why I don't change my behaviors. And that's why I don't have discipline and consistency. So the business will still be my keystone goal for next year. Hopefully we'll make 6 figures by the end of next year. Interesting. So that's all for step 1, to reflect. Now let's move on to step 2, to plan next year. I don't know if you believe in visualization or not, but I'm kind of a fan. Yeah, because on my Notion, I've kind of like a vision board going on somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I have like mixed feelings about vision board, but sometimes when I look back, it's really amazing how I see myself like achieving all those goals. So let's have a look. I do that on Notion. As a vision board, goal tracker. This is 2021. I got some visuals attached to the goal that I want to meet. Some of them are quite long term actually, but for areas that I really focused on and have achieved my goals, I think it worked for me. Like being fit, being like maintaining my workout routine here, being consistent in uploading stuff, and then becoming a registered music therapist with all the necessary skills. I feel like it can inspire you to a certain extent, but if you're not a fan, that's fine. Let's move on. But this is just what I do every year to update the goals and maybe update the graphics as well. So this is a good exercise that I do from time to time, which is to like list out how your ideal day or week will be next year and 5 years from now on. So the first one is like next year because it's like very close. Yeah. So because I kind of know how my week will look like, because I got part-time job, casual job, and my own business to work on, right? That's why my week is pretty much decided for me. Like I work from Tuesday to Thursday, so there will be like whole day work at the clinic, and then on Monday and Friday ideally I will have like solid morning routine workout, and then plan my sessions, have some online sessions, have lunch, more online sessions, and then work on the content creation side. Yeah, that was like a standard day, ideal ordinary week for me. But then in 5 years from now, which might be a hard exercise for some of you to do because like a lot can happen in 1 year. How can you kind of predict what will happen in 5 years? But just try your best to like list out how you want your ideal week to be, because that really forces you to like look at your current life, compare that, and see what is not working and what is not contributing to a long-term goal, and then you can like change your habit, change your behavior from then. So for my life, for my health, I would really continue to prioritize that next year. More workouts, more meditation, and go back to therapy, but maybe every fortnight. I would also want to hire a boxing coach. And the relationship, yeah, I really hope next year that we can travel like without fear. I know that many people are taking planes already and whatnot, but yeah, that's not the case for me. I'm not even going on road trips, but let's see. I really hope to meet my partner in real life next year. And also like more intentional relationship building with friends and social circle basically. And regarding the happiness aspect, I want to keep reminding myself that I'm not building my identity solely on my career. Like I'm not just a music therapist, but I can be a pianist, a singer, whatever. Like I'm not just a music therapist, because I think it's quite dangerous to put all your identity in one basket. Yeah, anyway, I want to experiment more, taking my own advice with my lifestyle, food, routines, culture, and location freedom. This is something that I'll look into next year. And then I have my business roadmap attached on the business side. And then we have the bucket list, which is for next year. But when I looked back to last year, I was kind of ashamed that I didn't do any of those things on the list. But then I told myself that I've achieved the keystone goal of becoming a music therapist and also like prioritizing my health and other stuff. That's why I feel like all the other stuff can slowly come back in my life, but they're not the priorities because I can't focus on too many things at a time. But these are things that would be nice to have, or someday maybe. Don't even know the difference between them, but yeah, I feel like on a timeline basis, I would want to have all this stuff achieved faster than these three. So let's see how we go. But I feel like the danger of making this list is that some of them are not really 100% under my control. For example, hitting 1k subscribers on YouTube is not under my control. And also, living in different cities, I don't know. Like, let's see when we can fly and travel. But other stuff, some of them are under my control. And yeah, I've been actively making progress, especially on Japanese. We'll see how that goes. And then the next one is execute. So this is a really hard exercise that I spend so much time on, but I'm so afraid that I'm not going to execute. That's why you need to keep yourself accountable or ask someone to keep you accountable. That's the tip. So like regarding my business, this is a helpful exercise to do. Like think about the worst case scenario, think about why you might fail, and then come up with plans or strategies to minimize the chance of you failing. So yeah, I've got my exercise here and you can do the same if you want to. And that concludes the annual review. So this is my 2021 annual review. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired not just from the annual review but my story of pivoting my career and having the courage to actually make a change. Again, the Notion template is originally created by Ali Abdel, which I will have a link in the description box below so that you can duplicate it and make your own annual review. Yeah, let's make no more excuse and make next year your best year yet. Thanks for watching and I will see you next time.